It's the big show, talking to the biggest stars, and really they don't come any bigger than Jimmy Osmond. How are you?
You're nice. You're way too nice. Good to meet you.
I tell you why I say that is because you're just good at what you do. You can sing and there's no faking it. I think in 2009 we really appreciate that.
Well, it's fun. You know, we grew up the old Hollywood way where we had to learn to sing our own songs, play our own instruments, and even write our own music. And so it's been a real blessing to be able to last as long as we have. We're like old pennies. We keep showing up.
Is it tricky being you? Because I imagine you get offered a load of stuff, good and bad, and then it's your job to decide what you accept and what you don't. How do you deal with that being popular?
Oh, I don't think it's as hard as you make it out to be, but it's really cool though. I'm 45 and I'm still a young guy, and to have opportunities like playing on the West End, which is something I've always wanted to do, and then go into Chicago. That's a great musical, and I never thought I'd get that chance.
Well, we should say we're stood here today in the Piccadilli Theatre where you're doing Grease, and you've got the best gig in show business. You do about 4 minutes, don't you?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, you know, Grease has so many hit records that came out of the play, and but right at the very end of the show, I come out and do Beauty School Dropout, which is the dream sequence, and it's really not fair to the rest of the cast because it's just a fun number, but they work so hard and they've made me feel very welcome. It's a wonderful and talented cast.
Do you have to be careful that that doesn't breed resentment, that they're working so hard and you're able to be here in Showbiz Towers and just pop on and pop off?
No, they're not that kind of people. But what's cool is in the daytime, I do a lot of promotion and stuff for it. So it's a team, isn't it? And to be invited to their team has really been a cool thing for me.
And I think the reality is now you do need something to sell with every show because it's difficult to get people to come in. It's expensive to get these tickets in the first place. And we need somebody like you to bring people into the West End. That's the reality of the business today, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about that, but marketing is everything, and I think once you get them in the door, the big job starts, and that's delivering. And this cast, as you can see, I mean, the energy that they exude and the professionalism is amazing. But no, I'm just glad I can be good for something. But I'm very close to my family. I have 4 kids, a beautiful wife, and they're on their way. They were with me for over a month. I did my first panto. That was an experience.
You were in Northampton, right?
I was, and it went so well. It was really fun. And but they were with me the whole time, but they had to go back to school and get things going, and so now they're popping out to see Grease. They've not seen it yet, so I'm excited to show them.
Help me with the panto thing, because Americans don't have panto. When were you first aware that this is an institution in Britain?
Well, I used to go to pantos, you know, over here, you know, early on, and never was able to be a part of one, and I had loads of friends that were in them. But you know, I grew up on variety television, so we did all of the slapstick and all of the goofy things that you do in panto, but I never experienced the audience screaming back the way that they did and interacting with the play, and that was a real education and a lot of fun.
It's basically your vaudeville with camp dresses, isn't it?
It probably is, although we did camp dresses too, but I think you guys were definitely started it.
And it is magical, because I think it's probably the first time most kids ever come to a theatre, and in some cases the only time they go to the theatre. It really is an important thing, although some people poo-poo it, and that's such a shame.
No, what's amazing is, and they're so non-inhibited, or, you know, these kids come in and they will just tell you what they think, you know. And it was fun to deal with that, and to be able to modify the script enough to get around somebody yelling something out at you, and it was cool. It was just one more of those things in life that is a neat experience.
You're now in your mid-20s, and you're looking great.
Thank you for lying. My name is Pinocchio. And no, I did Cinderella, not Pinocchio.
Nobody would know. Nobody would know. And you've had such a great career. What is it like for you going out in the West End? Because it's busy and there's people. Are you recognised by most people, or by the time you've gone past, they're turning around going, wasn't that Jimmy? No, it was an Osmond.
No, actually, my big ugly face on those double-decker buses probably doesn't help things, but it's been great. You know, people, I don't know what it is. I don't think we quite deserved it, but there's been a sense of respect that my family has received, in this country especially, that it's just such a pleasure to be over here. People go out of their way to be nice to you, and I like it. I love being here and being a part of it.
And how do you create that? I'm sure if you can ask this question, you'd be running one of the big music companies, but it seems today they don't know how to create an Osmond group or an Elton John or a Rod Stewart. They don't seem to give you enough time.
They may not want to. No, I don't know. I think, we grew up in a very unique way. I started when I was 3 years old, and my first show was with Frank Sinatra, for Pete's sakes. It was like those guys were our mentors, and they went out of their way to help this silly little Mormon family that was in show business avoid a lot of pitfalls. And nowadays you don't see that kind of mentoring happening. You see the big reality shows where somebody's an undiscovered talent, which is great, but what happens when that spotlight goes off? What happens to that person? And in our case, we never took show business serious. This is something we did because we loved it, and to be able to do what I loved for 42 years is pretty lucky, I think.
And help me with the American perspective on the West End. I know for the guys in the West End, they dream of getting the phone call where they go to Broadway.
Grass is always greener, and we feel the same way about the West End. That's why I was just so excited. I was over here making that show. The tour happened for my brother's 50th anniversary, and we were playing over at the O2, and I get a call from David Ian's company that said, hey, would you, be willing to be Teen Angel? And I go, are you kidding me? I'd love it. So I never thought it would happen. I didn't seek it out, but I'm sure glad it found me.
Can you explain the feeling of being loved and wanted and recognized? Because it's not normal to people like me.
No, I can't. Because I don't really, I'm really hard on myself, to be honest with you. I mean, you don't really know me, but I still don't really even believe that that's the case, although these opportunities come, and I'm just overwhelmed that they do come. But I'm really hard on myself. Matter of fact, after every show, there's that little card over there. I give myself a rating. And you know what? I'm really after pushing myself, and I'm trying to improve myself, and I don't think about that other kind of stuff. It's like golf. You're playing against yourself. And I think you get to that point in your life where, you do what you do because you love it. And you want to prove to yourself that you can do something and do it better every night. And I think I still get butterflies when I perform. And I know my brothers do, and my sister, because we care. And I care about the person that spent their hard-earned money, that came to make it happen for all of us here. I care that I deliver for them. What a cool and infectious thing to be involved in, when you can literally take 2 hours out of somebody's life where they leave their troubles at the door, and they can get lost in this musical or in a concert, whatever. It's such a cool job, and it makes you feel like your day is worth it.
A question I've got to ask you, of course, Jimmy, is how does it feel to be adored?
I think, like we were lucky to grow up on television, and I don't know if we're adored, but I think we're like a comfortable pair of shoes, when you come to an Osmond show, because you know the backstory of somebody, and hopefully we're friends to a lot of people. A lot of people call them fans, but I call them friends because they've stuck with us for 50 years for my brothers, 42 years for me. I would say that they're more friends than fans at this stage.
And it's always nice when you see something like Larry King Live and you're all on together and we get to hear your stories, the ups and the downs, because life isn't always showbiz, is it?
No, peaks, valleys, we've had a lot of both, and no family escapes health issues, financial stress. I mean, we all, put our pants on one leg at a time, and I've said that many times, but it's really a true story. This so-called thing called celebrity is really a phony, false thing, and if you allow yourself to get caught up in your own hype, that's when you're ready for a fall. And we have had quite a few tough times, but those times have made us stronger.
And of course, I'm going to see Donnie in a few weeks. Looking forward to that. But the one I really want to meet is Marie. How do I get a date with Marie?
Well, just tell her that her business manager, which is me, said she has to say hi. No, she's a wonderful gal. And you talk about talented. And she's got so much momentum right now in America. She's got a new television series coming out. And I'm just really proud of her. And she's had struggles. Talk about struggles in your life. She's gone through a couple divorces. And, she has 8 children. Most, 5 of them are adopted, and she's dealt with about every life possible situation, and she always comes out just graceful
But I think, as she said before on TV and on radio, it's you guys who keep her going together, the unity between the family, and that's so inspirational at this time more than anything, with all that goes wrong in the world and all that's going on. It's all about the team, isn't it, at home? Well,
it is. I think we learned something early on is that family is more important to us. You usually only realize that at the beginning of your life and the end of your life. But fortunately, we've been able to somehow hold on to each other in spite of our differences, because we have many differences like every family. But I know when the chips are down, my brothers are there for me, and so is my sister. So it's pretty cool. You might hear in the background some noise. Well, it's not noise, it's the play actually going on. Yeah, how long have you got now? You must be ticking down in your head. What time is it? No, I'm teasing. This is the start of the second half, so I have another 10-15 minutes. So okay, we must move on with this then. Very finally, you're going into Chicago. Big role. A chance for you to look glamorous and showbiz and be adorable. Well, there's a first time for everything. You're looking forward to it? I am. I really am. You know, it's a very grown-up play. And what's nice, a lot of people have a misconception about the role of Billy Flynn. They think of him as this greasy lawyer, but the truth is, he's a lawyer. I guess he is kind of greasy, but not in a bad way. He's charming, and if you ever saw the movie that Richard Gere, when he played it, you knew that it was a great character, and it doesn't do anything that compromises me and my beliefs, and I'm just thrilled that they allowed me the opportunity to be in such a fascinating, world-famous, world-class musical. And the interesting thing about it is it's so about today, media manipulation and what we should believe and what we shouldn't believe and what we're told and what's true and what isn't. It's such a relevant story all these years later. It's almost embarrassing that we keep making the same mistakes. I mean, this is what happens in the 30s, and you leave the play going, wow, celebrity really isn't worth that, is it? And yet, we're still doing it, probably times 10 of what it was like back then. But it just shows you human nature and how fascinating it is. So I think your warm-up girl's outside. We better let you go. All right. It's a good life. Somebody's got to do it. Jimmy Osmond, it's such an honor meeting you. You're such an inspiration. Well, I need you around me more often. I'll be quite confident. No, thank you for saying those nice things. But the truth is, I'm just a regular guy that's having a good time, and I've lived a blessed life, and I know it. Jimmy Osmond, thank you very much. Thank you, buddy.